Good day. Hope you're doing well today. We have a article from Screen Rant dated July 28, 2019. Rise of Skywalker. 10 Star Wars mysteries we've never had answered. So, let's get into this. The Rise of Skywalker will conclude Star Wars saga, and fans are expected ahead of its release this December. With The Last Jedi dividing both fans and critics alike, and Solo, a Star Wars movie, failing to hit the heights at the box office, Disney are under pressure to deliver a satisfying conclusion to a story that has far spanned 10 movies and over 40 years. In order to truly make audiences leave the theater feeling satisfied, J.J. Abrams could look to solve some of the biggest mysteries that have never been solved. We now look at 10 from the movies we'd like to know the full story about, having been far kept in the dark. So, let's get into this. Before we do, comment on what you would like to see happen in the Rise of Skywalker that has never been answered. Let's get on with this. 10. Anakin Skywalker's parentage. Anakin Skywalker was basically Jesus, right? In the sense that he was basically an immaculate conception. In Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, we meet the youngster and learn that his mother, Shmi Skywalker, conceived, delivered, and raised him without the help of a father. At the time, we expected answers, but by the time the prequel trilogy wrapped in 2005, we were none the wiser as to how he was brought into the world. Recent comics have hinted that his conception was the work of Darth Sidious, who manipulated the midi-chlorians in the hope of creating somebody who would be a worthy asset to the dark side. While this theory seems plausible, we'd like to see it confirmed in The Rise of Skywalker, especially with Sidious back in the picture. Yeah, definitely the comics have hinted at this, and I haven't read the comics, just I've read about some of these comics and stuff like that, that Sidious is the father of Anakin Skywalker, basically. So, but it would be awesome if Sidious in The Rise of Skywalker says, he's the one who created Anakin. Like, just says it kind of thing. So we're not left reeling on if it's true or not. Just, yes, it's true, or no, it's not. Anyways, number 9. What happened to Boba Fett? Boba Fett is a popular Star Wars character despite only appearing in a handful of scenes in both The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. In fact, he was so popular that George Lucas chose to include a younger version of the bounty hunter in Attack of the Clones. In this blockbuster, he helps Father Jango Fett attack Obi-Wan Kenobi and serve under villainous Sith Lord Count Dooku. Jango meets a sticky end, with Mace Windu beheading him during the showdown in Geonosis, and we've never learned what he did in all those years between Attack of the Clones and The Empire Strikes Back. We know he had similar training to the clones, but that aside, his rise to such prominence is a mystery. Well, we do see him in the Clone Wars cartoon series. He tries to attack Mace Windu by bombing him, and then he becomes a bounty hunter with Saj Ventress and so on. But after the Clone Wars, you don't hear from him. So it'd definitely be cool to know what happens to him after the Clone Wars all the way to The Empire Strikes Back. Also, some people think that he escaped the Sarlacc pit. So did he escape the Sarlacc pit? Who knows? If I'm not mistaken, I think his armor is shown to be out of the pit, though. But I don't know. But that's one mystery that could be solved. Maybe Snoke is Boba Fett. Okay, no, not really. Number 8. How did Padme really die? Sorry, George Lucas, but there's no way Padme Amidala died just because she was losing the will to live. Plenty of people experience those emotions every day, but they just don't drop dead. Revenge of the Sith is no doubt the best part of the prequel trilogy, but Padme's death felt implausible, something that has prompted many theories in the time since. One of those is that Sidious himself drained the life of her in order to save Anakin Skywalker following his defeat to Obi-Wan Kenobi on lava planet Mustafar. And with the Rise of Skywalker poised to feature flashback sequences, it would be great if it was revealed that this was the true reason for Padme's death. Until then, the true reason for her passing is something only to be speculated on. So I've always thought of that Palpatine drained her energy in order to give it to Anakin to save him. But, I mean, I have no evidence for that. So it's just one of those theories that I kind of got. So what do you think about that one? How did she actually die? We will find out. Maybe. Maybe not. Probably not. Number 7. Was immortality really achieved? Revenge of the Sith also started a mystery that is yet to be explained, when Darth Sidious reveals to Anakin Skywalker the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Sitting in an opera booth on the planet Coruscant, Sidious explains how Plagueis once learned the path to immortality, and was able to even save the people he cared about from most dying. There's one problem though. Sidious was able to kill his old master. That begs the question, did he ever actually learn the art? Or was Sheev Palpatine merely saying those things in order to persuade Anakin to turn to the dark side? Palpatine says he learned everything from his old master, but he himself is dead. At least for now. This is certainly a mystery the Rise of Skywalker can shed some light on, particularly if, as expected, Sidious returns from the dead. Well, that would be definitely something. I don't have one way or the other of how I think about this, so I never really gave it too much thought. So let's move on. Number 6. What did Obi-Wan Kenobi do on Tatooine? There's a big section of the Star Wars fanbase who would love to see a movie on Obi-Wan Kenobi with Ewan McGregor's portrayal of the legendary Jedi, one of the standout elements for the prequel trilogy. And there's a good reason why. We know barely anything about what he did between the events of Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Even when Kenobi popped up in Star Wars Rebels defeating Darth Maul, we don't learn much new about the character. Why did he change his first name and not his second, if he wanted to trick the Empire into thinking he was lying low? A planet of Tatooine ilk would no doubt seen him cross paths with many rogue characters, but we don't know how he sat tight for all those years. It's something we'd love to see on the big screen. Now, I'm a big Obi-Wan Kenobi fan, so I would definitely love a movie of this. So, bring it on. Obi-Wan, a Star Wars story. Sounds good? Number 5. How did Maz Kanata get the lightsaber? J.J. Abrams loves a mystery box and introduced a big one during The Force Awakens. There it was revealed that Maz Kanata had been able to acquire Luke's lightsaber at some point in time. The same lightsaber that was last seen in his severed hand during The Empire Strikes Back. When Han Solo quizzes her on the matter, she merely says, "for another time." And this is something the Rise of Skywalker needs to address, because the lightsaber and the hand could hold the key to everything. Some have suggested that the hand was used to clone Luke, which is why Rey is so powerful. But we don't know that for a fact, and it would be ideal if Abrams was able to answer a question that has been on our minds ever since The Force Awakens, released 4 years ago. Now, that's something that I always thought that Rey was a clone of Luke from his hand. That's one of my theories anyways. Again, I got no evidence for that. Just one of those things that I think it would make sense. But it would be good to know, how did Maz get the lightsaber? On to number 4. Who was or is Snoke? A subject that divides the Star Wars fans 2 years on from the release of The Last Jedi is Supreme Leader Snoke. When The Force Awakens came out in 2015, we were introduced to basically Darth Sidious 2.0. He was similarly disfigured, and his threatened aura of authority, and was a dark side user described as being among the most powerful in existence. There were so many theories, so many questions, but then Rian Johnson killed him off in The Last Jedi, with Kylo Ren cutting him in half via some clever lightsaber work. However, there's still so much we need to know. What were his intentions? What was so fascinating by young Ben Solo? And was he really just Snoke? Or was he an old face from the past posing as somebody new? Again, it's something the Rise of Skywalker must shed some light on. I agree. I'd like to know a little bit more of Snoke. Who was he? Why was he there? Why did he pick Ben Solo? Things like that. I personally would like to know a little bit more. Number 3. How did the First Order rise? While we know virtually nothing about Supreme Leader Snoke, where he's from, and why he's obsessed with Kylo Ren, just as much isn't known about the First Order. Sure, tidbits in the comics and the Star Wars Battlefront 2 video game have provided some details about them, but 2 movies into the sequel trilogy were still in the dark. At the moment, they seem to only exist to be what the Empire were to in the original trilogy, but we need some answers. Such power must have taken years to obtain, and overthrowing the New Republic is no easy feat. We're hoping the Rise of Skywalker fills in at least some of the blanks, because if not, it's going to mean plenty of people leaving the theaters are going to feel aggrieved. And it's something I don't really think about, really. I don't really think about how did the First Order come about and how did it rise to power. I didn't think about much about it, so it's one of those questions that I'm like, if we find out, great. If we don't, it just happened, I guess, and there we go. On to number 2. Why did Ben Solo turn? So The Last Jedi shed some light on Ben Solo turning to the dark side, but only some. We know that he turned back on his uncle Luke Skywalker after believing his family member was about to slay him in his sleep. We also know that he took a few of Luke's old Jedi Academy pupils with him as well. Pupils who may end up being the Knights of Ren, but that's just not good enough. We need to know how Kylo Ren met Supreme Leader Snoke, and why his obsession with Darth Vader started to unfold in the first place. Luke trying to kill him was bound to leave a mark, but certainly wouldn't have led to a full-on transformation. A new comic is poised to tell us more about the matter, but The Rise of Skywalker should as well. It's true, I mean, we read a little bit of it in the Aftermath books, but it would be nice to know, Luke was going to kill him because he was turning to the dark side, but why was he turning to the dark side in the first place? It would be nice to know. And number 1, what everyone's question is, why is Rey so powerful? The ultimate Star Wars mystery, one of the biggest complaints of the sequel trilogy is that there seems to be little or no explanation as to how Rey is so powerful. When we first meet her, The Force Awakens, she's clearly tough and battle-ready, but those things aren't necessarily make you a Jedi Knight. And the way she not only beat Kylo Ren at the end of the movie, but resisted Supreme Leader Snoke in the next, means something has to be revealed soon enough. Most likely, it'll have to do with her origins. But if she's from a Jedi bloodline, a Skywalker, a Kenobi, or even a Palpatine, then her powers can make sense. But if she's merely nobody whose parents sold her for drinking money, then it seems she's only powerful for narrative purposes. Disney can't afford the sequel trilogy to end without giving her character greater explanation. So it's one thing that I definitely agree on, is we need a little bit more of an explanation of why she's more powerful. I still personally, like I said, I think she's a clone. And I don't think no one's going to really change my mind, although I'm open to opinions. I'm open to that might be other explanations. But the clone theory just really works. So, anyways, what do you guys think? What is your ultimate question that you have that you'd like answered from any of the trilogies? The sequel, the prequel, or the original trilogies? Let me know in the comment section. And thanks for watching. Take care and have a great day.